Hello everyone, my name is Christel and in this journal video I will be setting up for the month of July with the theme Cottagecore. It's been a long time since I did a voiceover, but you guys voted for it on Instagram, so you're gonna suffer with me. It's a long video, so I don't know if I will be able to talk for this long. Probably not, but I'm going to try anyway. If you have followed my bullet journal journey so far, you've seen me set up a few months that have a social media aesthetic as theme, and Cottagecore is one of them. Because I too have a nostalgia for a time when things and life were just simpler. Like baking bread, even though I'm not good at it. Beautiful old English cottages, the flowy milkmaid dresses, and pretending I do not suffer from severe hay fever when I see the pollen just floating about in the meadows. Somewhere I wasn't sure to just do Cottagecore or Hobbitcore instead, because those two overlap in a lot of things, like the baking bread part. In hindsight, I'm glad I stuck with Cottagecore because this setup turned out so nice, beautiful and cozy. Plus now I can still use Hobbitcore in another journal setup. For the cover art I found this coloring page on Pinterest. Unfortunately it is AI. But now I don't have to feel bad for using and modifying it. Hey. Because there is no copyright. I don't know if you can see, but I tried to do the line art like I did in my Dowry of Blood video. You know, the one with broken up lines and dots. In my opinion, it gives it a more nostalgic and Anton Pieck feeling. If you know, you know. But if you don't know, Anton Pieck was a Dutch drawing artist who is also one of the founders of the fairy tale forest in the Dutch amusement park, the Efteling. But I digress. I like the idea of these old English yet also German cottages. The right one makes me think more of Germany than England. Anyway, cottages and their lovely overgrown gardens that are full of flowers of all kinds, which I don't know the names of in both English and Dutch, by the way. Stone walls, cobblestone walkways and Studio Ghibli clouds. So that's what I thought of during the making of this cover art. Now on the right page I did the July title with the letter J in a box so I can color it in. I also use this embellished floral lettering style for the first initial, and of course the calendar. I know the calendar is in a kind of weird shape, but it didn't fit the way I wanted it to on the page, so I chose a creative solution to put the days of the week on the most left instead of the top, and the weeks going up and down from left to right. I do like how it turned out, but God, I had to do some mental gymnastics to not write down the wrong number every time. Here you see me draw some ivy going up the right of the calendar. Put a pin in this. This shape is important for later. I debated with myself for the longest time whether I should color this month in with color pencils or watercolors. And out of nowhere while filming, I just grabbed my color pencil, so I made the decision in a split second. The gold gel pen for the initials in the boxes. Oh, here I couldn't see the details anymore, so I had to bring the journal closer up to my face, and luckily I remembered to keep it in shot. I'm very proud of myself for doing that. Despite this cover alone taking up for about 4 hours. Actually, all the spreads took up about 4 hours each. I'm very happy how July turned out. Once in a while you see me swatch the colors on this piece of paper. On the other side are my habit trackers that I will cut out once we get to that part. For the coloring of the cover art, I tried to layer the color pencil so I could give it some texture where I wanted it to be, create some shadows like on the roof, but also it would be more like a painting. What do you think? Can you make a painting in quotes with colored pencils? At some point, even in the sketching of this piece, I did too many details in the garden, and I couldn't see those details anymore when I did line art. So I had no clue what was supposed to be there when I started coloring. But green seemed to be a good option. Also, in order to keep the sketchiness, I never erased my sketch lines. I don't know if that contributed to the overall vibe and finished results of this piece, but I like to believe it did. My favorite part of this drawing is the way I colored the cottages. I believe I captured the limestone walls perfectly with the 2 layered colors. Onto the mood tracker. It doesn't happen often that I put the mood and habit trackers on 2 different pages, but I like how they both turned out. The mood tracker is a forest scene with mushrooms for me to color in. This one also took up to 4 hours to make.
Maybe, Christel, that's because you layered so many colored pencils.
Maybe, but it looks beautiful and I'll do it again. I wanted this forest scene to have a magical feeling, and I started by drawing some gigantic mushrooms, but later changed it to some smaller mushrooms. I know that magic is not associated with Cottagecore in particularly, but this is my journal, goddammit, and I do with it whatever I want. Jokes aside, I do think that the forest and mushrooms are part of Cottagecore, like when you go foraging, living off the land. I should have drawn a farm, not a forest. Anyway, I did my best to keep the mushrooms blank, but sometimes I got a bit excited or tired and accidentally went over some mushroom lines. Luckily it was with just one layer, so I could easily erase that part. I did have some trouble picking out the right green colors because there are so many, and I didn't want the treetops to have the same green color as the initial boxes. It became quite a struggle, but thanks to the magic of layering color pencils, I was able to make the boxes stand out. If you disagree with me, please let me know. You can see me cutting half of the page, and when my scissors weren't up to the job I had in mind, I grabbed my cutting mat and craft knife and cut it the way I wanted. And this is why the previous shape of the ivy was important. You see me place down some blank paper in between the pages. That is because I had a lot more coloring to do, and due to experience I knew the pencils would rub off on each other and the blank pages will prevent that. Or at least it will rub off on those blank pages instead of the journal pages. For the habit tracker I drew this cute and cozy laundry room under the stairs. The washer and dryer are inspired after my own set. I thought a cozy laundry room would fit with the Cottagecore vibe. What do you think? Does it fit or not? After I drew the shelves, I didn't know what to put on them, so my husband said a teddy bear, and I'm so happy I listened to him because the teddy is so cute. And maybe a child lives here and the teddy needed to be washed. You don't know. Of course, when you do the laundry, there will always be that one sock. You know, you forgot to put it in the washer or in the dryer, or it fell out of the laundry basket. I'm still missing one sock. Where the F is that thing going? I'm so sorry. I love how cozy this spread turned out to be. I don't know which cottage on the cover art this laundry room belongs to, but it feels lifted. Here you see me cut out the trackers and gluing them on the page. For some reason I put the indicators for the mood tracker on the bottom of the habit tracker. I will fix this at some point, but not now. And of course some more cutting of the pages. And on to the weeklies. I had so many plans for the weekly borders, but after multiple days of filming for hours, I wasn't in the mood anymore to draw out every individual border. I did do the border on the first week. They are covered in lavender. For the week numbers, I thought it would be nice if they had the letter decorations as well. I tried to keep all the numbers in the same style. I don't know if I succeeded in that because there was no sheet for the numbers. There's not much to say about how I colored the lavender border. I just picked a bunch of my purple pencils and colored away. For the other borders, I decided I have some nice stamps that would stay in theme, so let's use them. In hindsight, I don't really like how the stamps turned out. Trial and error, we call it. So to make up for the borders I didn't like, which you're gonna see later on, I put some stickers next to every week number and on the last border. For the last weekly, I drew this beautiful arch and bike with flowers. At some point I forgot that I hadn't drew the petals. Oops. This is my favorite drawing of them all. I have the feeling that over the course of this setup I got a feeling for using and layering my color pencils, and it all came together in this last drawing. And I'm so glad I decided that you should see both part of the cover art and the back art, because now no matter where I need to be in this setup, I can see this beautiful colored in drawing I've made. Sorry, I'm just really proud of myself for this one. For this drawing, I decided to make a thicker outline around the plants and the bike. I think it gives it more dimension, and it probably also helps with the coloring. As a Dutch person, I do own a bike, but I want this bike. I would love to have this bike, especially in this color, and not the turned hand-me-down bike I got from my mom. Don't get me wrong, it gets me from point A to point B, but this thing, I'm just waiting for it to fall apart while riding it. Oh, here I realized my mistake and I put the indicators on the mood page where they belong. Anyway, on to the flip through. This setup took pretty long to make, like 4 hours per spread. My back did not like that. I say this every month, but I'm really happy how this turned out. I love the ivy on the calendar. I prefer the laundry room habit tracker over the forest mood tracker. But maybe that will change once I start coloring in the mushrooms. I like the weeklies, except the step borders, of course. And of course I love the drawing on the last weekly. Thank you all so much for watching this July setup. Please like and comment on this video. And if you haven't already, but you like this setup, subscribe. If you are subscribed, thank you for sticking around with me. and I appreciate you coming back to watch my videos. Thank you. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.